Hi everyone, I'm Andy Lian from Singapore. I am a licensed fund manager. I invest in various kind of verticals, including artificial intelligence. I'm also a book writer, and I, of course, do a lot of posting on X. So nice meeting everybody. And of course, I'm also a strong advocate in the decentralized world. I'm currently chairing a movement called Redecentralize, and I love to spread decentralization to everybody in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all the speakers for the great intro. And so here comes our first question. And we all know that AI models has a lot of complexity, and the users of AI, they care about speed. But that is kind of a trade-off of Web3 applications, which highlights decentralization over speed. So how are emerging consensus mechanisms and layer 2 solutions being redesigned to handle the computational and bandwidth demands of AI workloads? So how about I start with Jiahao?
Yeah, sure. I think for any of the decentralized AI solutions. Oh, by the way, my background is in computer science, graduated Oxford, and then worked in financial industry for the past 10 years as a global lead there, governing over all the financial infrastructure, especially. So that's where I realized that data silo is quite an important issue. That you need to have enough data to funnel a good model, but then in most cases in such industries, right, you can't have all the data to be gathered together. So same as decentralized AI, we want every data, every person's personal information to be secured in their own nodes. We don't want to share them everywhere. So that's why we created this infrastructure called Flock, Federated Learning and Blockchain, to help with the facilitation on the on-chain democratization, that you don't have to believe in a third-party API or Google say that they're going to do this for you. All the transactions is transparent and auditable on-chain. So that's the beauty of it. So in terms of solutions or the tech stacks that people are looking into, I guess later maybe 0G will talk about it also. There lots of the layers, lots of builders are trying to figure out different ways, right? So in the whole AI space, there's basically 3 components that you need to work on. The data, model, and the compute. So either one of these or several of these that you can decentralize them. That's basically the solution many of us are working right now. Like for data, how do you decentralize those data? You don't keep those data in one single place, right? You store them separately in each other's container. Or the compute, like many of the players in the market right now, doing decentralized compute, aggregating compute powers from different vendors, from different people, or even your GPU at home, and also the model side. I think model is the hardest one. That's where Flock's in, right? We train decentralized model, and together with some of our other friends in the whole ecosystem, trying to build a model in a decentralized way that does not really touch your personal info, to make sure the compute happens as close as your source data. So that's the only way to keep everything local and private. So yeah, that's basically our solution and tech stack.
Yeah, so using AI to optimize for the blockchain infra design is definitely feasible. You just mentioned like the consensus parameters or like validators, but yeah, so that's definitely are all like good examples. But we just need to be very careful about how they make decision. What the process looks like, and whether the result got changed or not. So we need to bring the real transparency to all this kind of like AI progress. Like if we're using model, is it running like offline or online? So that is bring the thing is we have to scale the blockchain. When I say scale is in terms of like the TPS, transaction per second, and also the on-chain space, which can host the real on-chain data. We all know there are like 2 kinds of like blockchain right now. So one is monosis blockchain, it's just like Solana, and another one is module blockchain, like Ethereum. So they're going like 2 different ways. So for Ethereum, since it has like execution layer 2s, and also like the data, the DA for the data, and different things. So actually, all these layer 2s, which like different chains, cross chains, they're within the one ecosystem. And what we're trying to build, one product we build is e-storage. So it's like a shared data layer for all this kind of like layer 1 or layer 2 within the EVM ecosystem. But if it's like monosis, then the scaling may be a little bit like different. So to ultimately using AI more smart, I think what we are trying to focus here is help the blockchain reach the capacity. I mean, the TPS level or the on-chain storage level, and make it better. Yeah.
Actually, this is a very good question. So the idea is blockchain, especially for the public chain, the design of the on-chain transactions is before the AI booming. So that created a problem. So even the on-chain transactions speed are very fast. Current, like the single consensus, cannot solve the problem for the or the requirement for the booming of AI. It's a little bit like the traditional car makers, for example, Toyota or BMW. They using their current the factory to build the new energy car, like the Tesla's car, is impossible because the operation system on one side is different. So what we are doing differently is we are actually using a multiple and modular consensus mechanism. So for example, we built a single POW consensus for the decentralized storage, and also similar the decentralized computing. But we align all the different modules from the POS on the top of the on-chain. So we align all the data service, cloud service, computing service with our the top of the POS consensus system. So that will help. We have unlimited the transaction possibility, and also the align with the computing and the storage service. That will help the AI to be using fully on-chain. So that will be quite different for the current layer one. The technique for the technique development for this system actually is very difficult, but we actually already have already done the major job in our testnet array. So so in the future we can see, for example, you are a decentralized AI project from the data storage side, and from the training for your data, and even for the fine tunings. You can output the information and the data on ZOG, and we don't need to using other the centralized service like the AWS or other the cloud service for the training, and but you're using the Solana and other public chain to put on chain, because the system is separately. We trying to build all the idea just from one side. That's a little bit different. Thank you.
I have to agree that full decentralization, right now remain a big challenge for this bandwidth AV AI. So I just want to keep things very simple. Number one, I think that computing part is definitely a must. Storage, if we can do it decentralized, I think is great. But we should always find ways to make sure that the security part of things in the infrastructure is well managed. It's not so much about AI or decentralization. It's also about how the whole system is being managed, and how the system can be managed more effectively, without any issues or any losses, with the users, without any losses or without any hacks, for the platform. So that's my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the speakers. And now the next time we will move on to the data sovereignty in AI training. So we all know that like OpenAI and big companies, they now have a lot of users' data they use to train the AI models. And I'm curious that what our speakers think that what infrastructure innovations are enabling users to maintain true ownership over their data while still allowing AI models to train on decentralized data sets?
Hey, so yeah, I can start. So as I mentioned earlier in our previous question already, basically there's three important components, right? Data, compute, and model. So for us, we're focusing on the model side, and the technology itself is called federated learning. It's a thing that developed by Google in 2017, meaning that so everyone now, if you're using Google's phones or Apple's phones, right, your typing habit prediction is done by federated learning, meaning that they don't submit your data or upload your data to a third party or to their own server. Everything still stays local, but they can still run the model to predict your next typing words, because otherwise all your privacy is going to be forfeit to Google or whoever, right? So the only thing here is it's still centralized controlled. Google is in the middle, so actually Google can see everything if they want. That's why we want a blockchain to join this governance, so you don't have to believe in a third party. Everything that you can see on chain. So back to Ting's question about how this tech can help with the decentralized models. That's exactly how basically federated learning are doing in terms of the model aggregation, the gradient aggregation that you don't have to upload or submit users' raw data. Instead, you are submitting the change of the models, where the models can merge together into a larger one. So in that sense, that none of the users' raw data ever being submitted or transmitted to any third places. It's all just within their own devices. So yeah, that's our solution, and I believe there are other ecosystem solutions that we can all help and work together to build this decentralized AI world. For example, zero-knowledge proofs, trusted execution environments, right? That can all be added on to one structure where the models are trained in federated learning or in a flock way, and also the transmission can be further enhanced by ZK or TEE, where we actually have our paper published called ZKFL. That's one of the pioneer research that we do with Ethereum Foundation. Oh, by the way, we're also we're also granted by Ethereum Foundation for the AI infra research, especially on this side. So I think there are, we're pushing more of these possibilities together with all our resources, with many of the eco players. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're not doing AI training or model ourselves, but we are trying to support that and make things just easier. Like I mentioned before, so there's like monolith blockchain and the module blockchain. So for the module blockchain, so there is like a shared DA layer. So there's like Ethereum DA, Eigen DA, Avel, or Celestia. So no matter what kind of DA solution, we're just helping them to store all the data on chain forever. So it will not be loose and it can be traceable. I feel like using like a shared like a DA layer that may solve some kind of like the problem. And another question is how to prevent like centralized like companies things. I think maybe like, you know, Jiahao mentioned before, is we need to bring everything on chain. And if we trying to bring everything on chain so that the whole progress and the model, the result, we know like it will not be changed, and we know like anyone just using that and how it can be used, right? In that case, back to the problem again, we need like more scalable like blockchain. So in terms of like storage capacity, and also, you know, maybe more smart contracts and a faster smart contract like parallel EVM. So those are the things we are working on. Yeah.
So from current, I think most of the like the blockchain asset, even for the like the ERC 721, the problem is even the verification is on chain, but the storage of data is not on chain. For example, from last circle, there is a very famous NFT collection name is Clone X, because the operation team they didn't suspect the service for the storage of the picture. So the ERC 721, because the picture is storage in like the IPFS, some centralized storage. So after they didn't pay, all the picture just going to the black. So that will be not tolerable for the like the AIs in the future. So what we are doing, for example, ZeroG, we are building like the Lian chain data service. For example, for the decentralized storage layer. So we currently have a new standard NFT. Name is INFT. So that means if you are using your AI agent, all the data for the AI agent can be storage on our like the decentralized storage service. Also, we can trace all the training process from ZeroG ecosystem, and also this INFT, it can be verifiable and tradable for Lian chain. So the data from data side is quite different. The idea comparing the traditional ERC 721 or even for the other like the some standards from for the traditional Ethereum standards. So that will help if someone not operation the project, even the AI agent itself can be involved by themselves, and all the process and data can be traceable and transparency. So that's what we are trying to do. That because I think what's the problem for the traditional on-chain is the efficiency for the computing is too slow. But we are using our like the computing service in a different layer, so that will help to speed up all the transactions. Actually, the ZeroG research team, we just done research together with China Mobile. So we are using the decentralized training model, training together for the 100 billion like the training model during same times. This training model actually much faster than the centralized training. So we are building the different idea to make the decentralized training and the computing even maybe more faster in the future. Yeah, but this will be a slow process, but we are already on the way. Yeah, thank you.
So I had a conversation with one of the Southeast Asian government, perhaps like 2 months ago. That we talk about things like zero data AI architecture, and I think all these things are really possible, and this whole process of zero data, in my humble opinion, is that we could actually use blockchain to enforce some of these rules, use blockchain solutions to emphasize on how we can do a fair bit of audits, on this architecture. And that is actually a win-win solution, for both the AI space, the blockchain space, and it become a really nice way to do more efficient this AI training, right? So in my opinion, I still think that if possible, of course, I would love to see both the data, computation, everything would be on-chain. But from a more productivity standpoint, I just felt that it is not very feasible for the current infrastructure. But everything is possible, man. Just give us some time. Thank you.
Okay, because we are a bit running off schedule, so I'd like to start with the last question, which is a bit more interesting. Because we all know that there is a lot of AI application ecosystem, and there is a lot of AI and Web3 applications. So I'm curious that what do you think is the killer feature or the best aspects of decentralized and Web3 systems that you think AI applications must use? For example, why not just build an AI app? Why does it have to have something to do with Web3?
Oh yeah, I think for our case, especially on the private AI side, I'm not quite sure for all the other speakers what their definition of on-chain or AI blockchain meaning. But for us, it's majorly the way, the mechanism that can help you to secure your data that's private. And back to the question you asked, what do you think is the killing or killer application? I guess if privacy is only something good to have, it wouldn't be some mass adoption, right? It has to be somewhere applicable in the places where only private AI can solve the issue, right? So in places, as I mentioned, like banking, healthcare, public sectors, like United Nations. So many of such places, of course, private AI is a killing application, but it's too enterprise focuses, right? If we talk about retail focus or some of the retail applications, well, actually we're building right now to help users to have more secured AI that they can use, personally. Those are the places where I see the mass adoption can be. So, for example, maybe FansNetwork, right? Once it has the private AI feature, then, well, of course, first of all, we can all gather the idea why FansNetwork is important. That everybody maybe need some comforting sometimes. Chatting with a virtual or real girlfriend. Or boyfriend, by the way. So, but many of those conversations might be very important or private to yourself that you don't want. You obviously don't want anyone else to see it, right? So these are the areas where, okay, if I can be sure that this conversation is secure and safe, and also the character I'm talking to is as realistic as possible, then this will be the killing application where I see will be very applicable, especially on this AI blockchain intersection.
So once Vitalik was asked, how do you view the future for Ethereum? Is it like a finance-related app or two, or is it like something else? So because previously we know majority of the application is DeFi, were like trading related. So we trade a lot of like meme or related like token. We're using the ERC20 to generate a lot of tokens. But he said, I really want Ethereum to become like a world computer. So I want to see more and more diversified for the application side. For example, like AI agent or decentralized content platform or whatever. That's what we believe as well. So that's why we called our innovative like blockchain as super world computer. So we are trying to help Ethereum scaling in terms of the more parallel EVM sites, faster speed, and also the more on-chain capacity and the less on-chain cost. In that case, we believe there will definitely be non-financial related like applications came out, and which is more mass adoption and more users. Yeah.
Yeah, so first let me recall Andy's question about the last answer. We are actually building the everything on chain, including like computing and storage for AI. It's not that easy, but actually we are already processed very well. Yeah, so for the application side, I think decentralized AI, currently they are facing, they're realizing they have some problems. Even like the OpenAI, they have the new program name is open source. So they're trying to make all the data and the training process more publicly and transparency to let people know how the centralized AI work. But the problem is, even some data can be transparency, but all the process is in the black box. So that's why we need a decentralized AI. For ZOG, we have different of the applications. For example, we have the fully on-chain agent, and this AI agent can be tradable and involved, and can be also verifiable for everyone. And also we have like the AI plus DeFi. All the DeFi agent also can be fully on-chain. So that's what we are doing differently, and we also will reveal more new projects in the future. Yeah, please follow us, and you can see a lot of the decentralized AI applications in the future. Yeah.
I think from my angle, especially from from a community angle. So I do a lot of socials all the time. I realize that the the best way for people to experience AI and blockchain and Web3, for example, is to teach them how to make money, right? So I felt that those AI agents that could help they could help users onboard, help users to do some good trades. I think those are really nice applications to have in this cycle. And I think the cycle is still nice, and maybe it will last a lot longer. So I think such application is going to be really sexy, especially for people who are new. And again, coming from the infrastructure standpoint and so forth, from a more ideology standpoint, is that I felt that, from my end, I felt that, things like a Web3 right now, I really felt that it's not really that decentralized. So I always coined the term Web4, because I felt that if there's a chance for us to redo it again, with all these AI experts in this panel, I think something like a Web4 would be a lot better. It would be a much more decentralized environment, less control, more AI driven. I think that should be the future for all of us. At least, again, it's my humble opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. This comes to an end of our session. And if you have any questions, then feel free to find us on the speaker session. Thank you.